today I want to get into how it's okay to feel a lot of different things when someone close to us takes their own life. And one of those things is anger. It's okay to be mad and to be angry. And I had this come up today, which is why I'm shooting this today, because I want to really normalize for you guys, if you're feeling that it's okay and that all these feelings are okay. And I think it's really hard, and there's so many emotions that are going on, obviously, when someone takes their own life, someone that we love and someone that we care about. And it's really, really hard to be the one left behind, right? It's really hard to keep going, to try to process this, to try to get through this, to try to figure out how to keep going with this overwhelming grief and sadness. It sucks. It's terrible. And it's almost infuriating at times. And I've kind of felt more of the anger today. And I think it's coming up for me right now because I have so many clients at this time right now who are struggling with this, who are struggling with losing somebody who was close to them. And it just happened on one of my Facebook groups too. I didn't know the person who took their own life, but the friend that she reached out to before she did it is blaming themselves, right? She's blaming herself because she feels like she didn't do enough and she's struggling. And that's gonna be years and years of struggle for this girl. And I have so many clients who are experiencing this right now. And so it's just so fresh for me. And I hear things all the time of like, well, maybe I wasn't worth sticking around for, or I obviously wasn't a good friend because I didn't see how bad it was, or I wasn't a good friend because I didn't do enough. I could have done more, or I could have done this, or how could I miss this, or all of those things, right? And that's blaming ourselves. That's putting all of this stuff on ourselves that is really heavy and intense. And it sometimes just frustrates me and makes me feel a lot of different emotions because these people are left struggling with this and blaming themselves. And sometimes they're angry, but they don't feel like it's okay to be angry, right? You can't be angry with someone who took their own life. But anger is totally normal to come up. It's infuriating. How could you do this to me? Right? Like, that's a normal thing to think. How could you do this to me? How could you leave me here? And I think we need to open up room for those things to be said and those things to be talked about. And obviously, like, I understand more than a lot of people, because I work with this so much, that when someone chooses to do that, they're not trying to hurt you. They often actually think that people are better off without them, and that, you know, all of their friends and family in the world will be better off without them, or they won't even notice or care, or they just feel so worthless, or such pain, and just they're such in that dark place. They're so deep in that dark place that they're not even thinking of how this will impact people. So I think both things happen. Like, either I don't even think about that because I'm just so lost in my own pain that I don't realize how bad it will be for other people, or I really think that other people will be better off without me and I just can't do this anymore. So I don't think that suicide is selfish or comes from a selfish place, but man, the way it impacts the people around the people who decide to do that is intense. And it's not just the people that are close to them, although that impact is crazy, but the riptide of it impacts a lot of people, and it really shakes up a lot of things. And I think more in a bigger way than most people could ever imagine. Like, they probably can't imagine how bad this will be for the people that they leave behind, or the people that they didn't even think of that it would impact. But it impacts them forever, for a really, really long time. They end up needing therapy and processing for a long time. And I really think it's one of the hardest things to get through, if you ever even get through it. That's the thing, like, with loss that's this bad, you don't really come out the other side like an illness. You learn to cope with it, you learn to work through your shame and all of your stuff around it, but it still hurts and there's still a loss because you lost that person. And so I just want to say that if you're feeling angry, that's okay. And that's normal, and you can be mad, you can be frustrated, you can, you know, find outlets for your anger because it's just so infuriating. And it's okay if everything else comes up too. I mean, some days you're angry, sometimes you feel really anxious, sometimes you feel lonely, sometimes you feel shame, sometimes you feel sad, sometimes you're just lost in grief. All of this is normal, and it sucks, and I'm so sorry, and it's so awful, but it is a normal reaction, and it's okay if it's coming up for you. And if you need a safe space to talk about that, I would encourage you to go to therapy and get therapy to talk about it. If you want to talk to me about it, message me. Go through my website, truetoucounseling.com, and you can message me, or you can just submit a question if you have a question. But really get some support and some help, because otherwise we can get lost in this negativity and in this grief and in this loss, and then we feel bad because we're angry, and then we add more shame and we add more guilt, and it just keeps piling on, and we already feel so buried that it's like I can't pile anything else on right now. So your feelings are normal and they're natural, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. You couldn't have done anything different, right? Like, if we all have those feelings of like, oh, if I would have known, or if I only did this, but we can't go back. Like, we can't, as much as we want to, we can't go back, but we can work on where we're at now and what we're doing now and how much support we're getting now and what outlets we have, and how much we're there for ourselves and others. So those are all my thoughts on that. Let me know if you have any questions, if you want to comment or reach out to me directly. I am here, and I want this to be a safe space for us to talk about this stuff. So please try to keep your comments supportive for other people, and, you know, just try to keep it nice. And obviously this isn't a positive topic, but let's not bring any of the negative or the hate kind of comments here. So all right, guys, let me know if you need anything, and I hope everybody has a good day.